Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to the Adobe XD Daily Creative Challenge. I'm your host, Andrea Eppy. So welcome, everyone. It has been a minute since we have been doing the Daily Creative Challenges, so I am so excited to see you guys all back here. Welcome, everyone in the chat. I hope you guys all had a wonderful holiday break and you're feeling rested and ready to go. I'm very excited. And if you're not feeling rested and ready to go, that's okay too. You can just sit back and watch and have fun for today. So welcome everyone in the chat. We've got Kristen, Golden Rose, Arlinda. Arlinda said this is her first time for being on here, so welcome. Awesome. So I'm very excited. I'm just gonna go ahead and get started. So let's hop on over to Behance. I'll pull up my screen over here. And as always, if you want to follow along with me, I'm on behance.net/challenge/XD. And we can go ahead and get started and see what we have for today. So today is just sort of a welcome day. As some of you guys may know, usually on Mondays or every other Monday, we do a welcome day for you newcomers or people that maybe need a little bit of a refresher as to what the Daily Creative Challenge even is. So today I'm just kind of gonna go through what it is, some tips and tricks for how you can do your best for these 2 weeks, and give you some sneak peeks and some examples from some ones that I've loved from the past that you guys have created. So yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. But if you scroll down on here, on this page, so of course, first of all, let's go ahead and register. I have not even registered yet. So it'll say, thanks for joining. It'll go ahead and launch Discord. I'm not going to get into that just yet. But that way, if you register each day at 8 a.m., you'll get notified in your Creative Cloud app that there is a new challenge and that you should hop on back over here. And one thing to mention is that we are going to be repeating these two, like the 2 weeks of these streams that I'm doing right now. We're going to be repeating them after the 15th. So it'll be January 4th to the 15th, and then we will do the same ones again for 2 weeks. So that way, you know, if it's going a little fast for you or anything, you can take your time. You know, we'll still be restreaming it after these 2 weeks. So don't feel too stressed out at the beginning of this new year. Welcome everyone that's just joining in the chat. As always, I'll be checking this chat throughout the stream, so if you have any questions, just let me know. Rosie's back. Welcome. El Reyes, George, Susan, Aaron. We've got Laura. Lots of familiar faces today. So thanks guys for joining. All right, and let's go ahead and scroll on down. So as some of you may know, we've got all of our challenges here, and each day, one of these challenges will be unlocked. So, of course, it's the 4th. Tomorrow is the 5th, so this one will be unlocked. You'll get a starter file right here, and that will look a little bit something like this. And I'll get into that in just a second. Your starter files will not have like all of this extra stuff, like the components and all of that. That's something that I think you guys can create. Use your own creativity. But we'll get into that in just a second. And you can also always go back and rewatch any of these streams if you want to. And down here, if you want to be notified about any future XD challenges, so every 2 weeks, like I mentioned, you can just subscribe right there. And of course, if you don't already have XD, you can download it right here. Just hit this. And you can choose like which version you want. You know, if you're just starting out, I recommend just the free one, but you can check out the paid versions as well. And then down here, we've got all of the past, I think this is all of the past challenges that we have been doing for like 2 years or so. I don't know how long we've been doing this, but we have had quite a lot of these. So if you ever, you know, just want to go back and look at some of those, you totally can do that as well. And we do keep all of the starter files. So if you just hit that get started button, I don't want to do that, but you can download those from previous challenges as well, and always watch those streams. So that's kind of the Daily Creative Challenge in a nutshell. So each day I give you a new challenge. You can share your work on Discord, of course. So let's go ahead and hop on over there. If you're not a member of Discord, you can click this link here or at the bottom. We've got this join us button right here, and that'll just ask you, I'm already signed in, but if you don't have an account, it'll ask if you want to, create a username and sign up and everything. And this is just where you guys can post all of your work, whether it's, work in progress, even if it's just like a screenshot or something, or if it's like a whole case study, that is great too. So you can share your work here and get feedback. Myself, I'm right here, Andrea Epi, and you can see what other mentors we have online at the moment. You can just chat with each other, ask each other questions, and all of these channels, feel free to go through any of these. You can, up here, we've got the announcements channel. Gus will let you guys know when we're going live and who's the host for that day and what the challenge is. So these three are read-only channels up here. And then down here, we've got some feedback channels. So this is where you can post your work. Just make sure you're putting it in the right one, because like some of these are portfolio review channels. This one is the current challenge channel. And I like to just look here to see what everyone else is making, get some inspiration myself. So the ones last week, or I guess before the break, where Howard was hosting, you can look through some of these. And so if you want any feedback, you can either post it there, or you can also post on Behance. So if you do post on Behance, I just want to show you one thing. So these are just some of my previous projects. Just go over to edit, and when you're uploading, it can be, just a static image, or you can upload the video file of you kind of clicking around. I think those are nice. Or you can do a whole case study if you're really feeling ambitious. But go over here to settings, and then under the project tags right here, just add that keyword XD Daily Challenge, and that way I can find your work and share it, or give you feedback if you want. Usually towards the end of the streams, like the last 5 minutes, I like to just search up that keyword and kind of see what you guys have been creating and just hype you up. So if you want to share there, Discord or Behance. Another place I would recommend if you want to get some inspiration or see if you have been featured, we have this gallery. This is, I guess we've been doing this for about 6 months or so, I think. So this is behance.net/galleries/challenges. And this is where you can look to, it's kind of like a curated gallery, and some of our Adobe folks choose some of their favorite work from not just the XD challenge, Daily Creative Challenge, but also the Photoshop one and the Illustrator one. So those are neat too, to look through all of those. But take a look through here. Maybe, your work has been selected. Those are really neat to look through. So just to give you some kind of like background about what these might look like, I have a few pulled up, and one of these I always use when I'm showing examples because I love it so much. But this is a great example by Praveen Kumar. And what he did was for all 9 of the challenges, because it's first day is the welcome day and then 9 days after that, he combined them into one case study, which I think is kind of just a nice, like, easy to digest way to like make this a case study. So, obviously give a whole description for like what each day is about, what the challenge is, show some mock-ups. This is just like really easy and kind of fun to look through. So this one is awesome. Great job on that one. This one, I think you maybe have seen me show it before because I love it. This one's by Joshua, a Space Invaders smartwatch. And one thing to mention, if I'm ever doing like an iPhone, or you don't want to do an iPhone, you want to do a watch, that is totally fine. You can switch up, if you want to do Android and I'm doing Apple screens, you can totally decide. Use your own creativity on this. So this one I loved. He's got the prototype of Space Invaders on your watch, which is so fun. So this is kind of the sort of things that we'll be creating each day. Love this. Tap invaders to destroy them. Just like such a fun idea. I don't remember what the actual challenge was. Oh, it was to use the polygon tool to create stars, and he just ran with it. So that one is awesome. This is the one that I always show because I think it is so cool. This is when we did an augmented reality sort of series, and this is by Marie Julie. So she did this smart mirror interface, and then totally took it above and beyond and like did a video of herself like clicking through all of her screens. I just think this is so awesome. So don't feel like you have to do something like this. I recommend spending about half an hour to 60 minutes, like half an hour on each of these. Don't feel overwhelmed or anything. It's really just, for your own benefit. Learn something new and add some new work to your portfolio. So those are some great examples. Next, it's just some great resources, and then we'll hop into XD for a little bit, I promise. So this is letsxd.com by Howard Pinsky. Of course, I'm sure a lot of you guys know this. This is a great resource. If you have not checked it out, I definitely recommend. So he's got a bunch of really great videos and tutorials and freebies and resources, so you can download some of his XD files and kind of mess around in there and see how he did certain animations and stuff. So this is really great, especially if there's like new features. Maybe you haven't messed around with 3D transforms before and you're not really sure how it works. You can just go to letsxd.com and watch one of his videos. And the nice thing about these is they're usually only like, 2 to 4 minutes or something. So pretty short and just easy to watch. So I love that one. And then if you really want to go even more in depth, you can just go to Adobe's website and scroll down here, and they kind of go a little bit more in depth about each of the new releases, 3D Transform again. You can really get into how it works and just read up on it more. So that is a bunch of resources for you. Let's go ahead and hop into XD, and I want to take you through what a daily starter file would look like. Okay, I need to check the chat because I haven't checked it in a while. Malice asked, who was that with the AR mirror? This was, so Marie Julie, she was someone that created or participated in one of our challenges. So if you want to look at this one, Marie Julie Del Rio. I might be mispronouncing that, but take a look at that one. Yeah. All right, so if you have never opened XD before, let me go ahead and show you just what that looks like. So you would go to File, New, and then you'll see this pop-up. And it's pretty much the same as Photoshop and Illustrator, all of the other Adobe apps when you first open, but I'll take you through it if you're new. So over here, we've got Home. So you've got a bunch of different artboard sizes up here that you can choose from. I usually just start with this first one because to me it doesn't really matter. I can always go in afterwards and resize and add new artboards. So these are just kind of examples for you. But if you hit the little drop down caret there, you can see a bunch of different sizes of iPhone and Google Pixel. But again, feel free to make your own size if you want. And then these are the web sizes. I generally go for 1920 by 1080, but you can do other ones. And then some of your socials. And they added this not too long ago, and I thought it was a good idea because, I'm always needing these sizes, always having to Google what size is Pinterest or whatever now. Or I guess they don't have Pinterest, but Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, you get the idea. And then down here, you've got some of your recent files, just kind of quick and easy. The Learn tab. So this is nice, again, if you're new or, you want to look through some of these tabs, design systems, more about prototyping, and there's a bunch of different videos here as well. So this is just kind of a quicker way to get to Let's XD. It's some of the same content, but this is a great resource as well. And then Cloud Documents, I'm not going to click on this because I have some of my freelance documents up there. But this, if you don't use cloud documents, I highly recommend, because it saves it in the background every so often, so you're less likely to lose some of your work, and you can go back in time in one document and go to different versions. Super handy. So if you're not using it, use cloud documents. So if you just click on one of these, it'll go ahead and open a new file. We'll get a blank canvas, and this is, so just to compare, this is a local document up here, just in case, you know, live streaming if the Wi-Fi went out or something. But this is what a cloud document looks like. So we've got the little cloud icon, and then the title of your file, and then in this drop down, it's grayed out right now, but once you start saving and adding new things, you'll see the different versions that you can go back on and, you know, see kind of how you progressed. So that is really nice. All right, so here, this all is what you will get in your starter files. Over here, we might mess around with some of this, just like a little design for today if we get to it. And then at the end, I want to show you some sneak peeks and see if you guys can guess sort of my theme for these 2 weeks. So at the top here, I always say what day it is and then give you the actual challenge prompt. And excuse me, this is blurred out because of course I don't want to give you tomorrow's challenge just yet. But this is where I'll give you the challenge. And then usually over here, I like to kind of highlight somewhere within the XD app of like where we can focus on, whether it's component states or something in prototyping like auto animate or some kind of components. I'll highlight something and I'll let you know where it is. And then down here we've got inspiration, just some inspo directly relating to whatever that day's challenge is. And the resource booklet that you see in every starter file. So if you haven't seen this, it's got a bunch of tabs that you can come over here. This is the components panel, and you have to tap over here instead of actually on these tabs itself in the design. But you can tap through these, and these are just some collections of, you know, my favorite icons, Jollycons, Streamline icons. It's a mix of paid and free, so you can look through and see if any inspire you. The fonts I use, I really just use Adobe fonts. That's pretty much it. Photos, you know, places I find photos, and tutorials. So yeah, feel free to look through those. And then lastly, down here, we've got where you can share your work. So on Behance and Discord, like I already mentioned. And then I usually give a little bit of tips, just directly relating to whatever the challenge of the day is. So, all right. So since we have a little bit of time, I wanted to just take one of our previous designs and kind of go through very quickly some of the just features throughout XD. If you maybe are new or you haven't looked at some of the new features in a while, thought I'd go through them very quickly. Henry asked, where do you get your icons from? Well, I don't know if you saw this before or after I was talking about my resource booklet, but check out the resource booklet, the icons tab. So that'll have a whole list of where I get icons from. Yeah, El Reyes said, shout out to the designer who did the watch idea. Yes, I loved that one. Awesome, awesome. And let me know if you guys have any other questions as I'm going. So this is a design that we did in April, I believe, for the daily creative challenges of last year. It's crazy, last year now. This year went by so fast. But basically over here, you've got all your, basic tools. So we've got, your shapes. So if I want to add a shape here, I can round those corners a bit. If you want to change the background of any of your artboards, just click on the whole artboard. And of course you can rename any of the artboards by double clicking and then typing whatever you want. But click on that whole artboard and you can change it in the appearance panel over here. Usually it's this white color, but sometimes if I'm doing rounded corners, I don't know, I just like to do that just for mock-up purposes. Shapes, of course, we've got some of these, like the triangle. you will see that there are subsidiary shapes within that shape. So this one, we've got the star. So you have to be clicking on some element in order to see all of those extra details over here in the details panel. But when you click on this, you can see you can add more sides to the star, some other adjustments, and then we can bring in the center here. So if you're looking for another shape or something, just know that it might be a level deeper. So just kind of play around with some of those. Pen tool, of course, just if you want to do something kind of freehand, you can do that as well. And a thing to note with the pen tool in XD, if you're coming from Illustrator or something else, it's a little bit different. You have to double click on those anchor points, and then you can start dragging these around, but double click if you want to edit those. Just a little bit different if you're used to something else. Type tool, of course, you can start typing something right there. I'm actually going to, I don't know if I have a ton of time, but let's just mock up what it would look like if this was a digital personal assistant app that we made in April, and we can take a bunch of these same elements. I love reusing components, like reusing these icons and such, and so always save your icons in a huge file, and then you can always go back and pick and choose which ones you want. So if you don't remember anything from today, I want you to remember to make a huge icon file. So maybe today we could make a little contacts sort of design. So this could be Anna Williams with that text box. And again, you've got a bunch of different options over here. We can choose the font. We can choose the size of the bounding box there. If you want to left align it or right align it, all of those options are up here. And we could save or use this as well. Maybe we want her to kind of like pop up a little bit. So I would want to copy this. We can paste it on the next page, and we can get into the prototype tab up here. And we'll be diving into this a lot more in subsequent daily creative challenges, but just, something fun to show you for today. We can dive in here on this first artboard. Maybe we bring her kind of below. This is within a clipping mask. We can bring her down, and then maybe when we go into the prototype tab and we just drag that little trigger over, so we've got a interaction there, and then you'll see we've got a bunch of details over here. And again, you won't see this unless you're in the prototype tab and you have some interaction already dragged around. So we can choose if we want to tap, we want to drag, play around with any of these other interactions, but I'm going to try auto animate because that's my fave. And you can choose any kind of interaction you want. We've got bounce, that's kind of what I'm going for. Choose the duration, and you can add, just mess around with some of those. But let's go ahead and just preview that. So if I tap, it's kind of silly looking, but it's fun. So let's hop back into the design tab. Let's see, what else do I want to show you? Oh, of course, the document panel, document assets. So you've got 3 different icons down here. You can see it. I don't know if I'm in the way. We've got our document assets, and if you go back one right here, you can see all of your different libraries. So let's say each of your different freelance projects or different companies that you work for, they each have all of their different icons and such. So if you have any saved icons, you can just drag them in here. Maybe we want this back arrow that we've already used. We can bring that up here. Maybe we want to reuse this little sort of menu drop-down icon up here. You can save your character styles. Yeah, bunch of stuff. Maybe this is like a context area down here. And then we can just copy and paste some elements that we already used right here. Another fun feature is repeat grid. So that's over here. Again, you have to be selecting some element that can be repeated, obviously. So just tap that, boom. Make sure I'm not on top of that. And we can extend that. If you click and drag within any of those elements, you can determine what that spacing is. So that's something I use all the time. What else? Maybe we'll want to add, oh, I'm about out of time, unfortunately. Well, let's see. Just before we end, I want to show you the layers. So if you're clicking on an artboard, or if you're not clicking on anything, you'll just see everything, all of your whole pasteboard, just all of these. But if you are clicking on something, then you will see all of the layers. And then you can go in, you know, rearrange all of these items if you want this to be behind the rectangle, all of that stuff. So that's your layers. And then way down here, we've got this little cute Lego icon. And oh gosh, okay, I'm about all out of time, but this is all of your plugins over here. So I didn't get to all of my themes, but sort of my theme is, for these 2 weeks, is going to be start of the new year, all of the things you want to do in January for resolutions. So guys, that is unfortunately about all the time that I have left for today. So thank you all so much for joining. Don't go anywhere, because in about 5 minutes, we've got Design in the Dark with Andrew Hockrattle and Hood's Paw Design, and I'll be back here again tomorrow at 2 p.m. Pacific. Hope you guys all have a great day. Bye, everyone.